Triceps are one of the most important muscles you can train when it comes to getting a stronger bench press, but also trying to keep your shoulders healthy overall. Because of the anatomy of the triceps, of how they cross both the elbow and the shoulder joint, they're gonna act on both. So they go way beyond just being vanity muscles that everyone trains for aesthetics. Now the cool thing about training your triceps, and honestly any joint in general, depending on how you position your arm, will change how the exercise benefits you. So with that in mind, if we get creative with our tricep exercises, not only do we get stronger carryover to the bench press, but we also get carryover into keeping our shoulders healthy in different ways of moving it. So if you've been spamming bench press, hoping it's gonna help you get a stronger bench press and it's just still not moving, chances are these smaller muscle groups might need some attention, where if you push their training super hard and specifically, you'll start to see your lifts improve. And let's look at things from a pain perspective. Say I'm training, whether it's overhead press, bench press, rows, and I'm having a lot of neck pain. Sometimes the limiter can be as simple as arm weakness. If the arms aren't strong enough to help with the row itself, along with the other muscle groups that are involved in that movement, you might notice other guys in the body are gonna try and help you out and kick in a little more than you'd want. So if you're having things like neck tightness, trap tightness, or just fatigue in general in areas other than the muscle groups you're working, you might want to look at the group project team players and see who's not doing their job. So bringing it back to bench press, if you notice that bench isn't moving the way you want and you want to get it stronger, or if it's causing some unnecessary tightness in different parts of your body, let's see how we can get the triceps stronger to help you perform better and also feel better. Now, this isn't your typical tricep accessory video where we're just gonna list 5 exercises, show you how to do it, and call it there. We're gonna talk about rationale and why I might choose one exercise over the other, and how it applies to both pain and performance when it comes to training with the barbell in the gym. And what qualifies me to do that? Well, my name is Justin, and I'm a physical therapist and a strength coach. I've been a physical therapist since 2021, and I've been a personal trainer and strength athlete way before that. I've helped hundreds of people train with the barbell despite the pain that they're dealing with to get stronger and make PRs, even though they might have been told that they have a certain diagnosis that makes it seem impossible to do that. And these are people just like you, where you might have been told by a doctor that it's not safe to do certain movements for whatever diagnosis that you have. I'm here to tell you that they might not just be seeing the whole picture. It is my job and my passion to help people in the gym get stronger despite whatever diagnosis they were given or whatever time constraints and life issues that they might have. You can get stronger despite whatever pain or plateaus you're dealing with. Now, before we get started, if you like my YouTube and you love the videos that you've been seeing, you can also follow me on Instagram and also subscribe to my newsletter. I post pretty frequently on Instagram, and I also post twice a week to my newsletter, where we go over things like tips to get stronger and also tips to manage pain and injury in the gym. All things to help you move forward despite whatever diagnoses or injuries that might be limiting you. I give a lot of attention to my newsletter especially, so that's a direct line to me if you ever need my help. Now let's go over 5 tricep exercises that can help you feel better and perform better, especially when it comes to getting stronger with your bench press. For our first exercise, we have Paul Dick's overhead press. And yes, when you hear overhead press, you're probably thinking shoulders, but the Paul Dick's overhead press is a very niche tricep exercise. And when you first see it, you might think that it's a pretty unnecessary exercise. Like, there's a lot of moving parts that might just seem totally unnecessary. But it's weird. It's one of those exercises that you just have to try to kind of feel the benefits of it. My favorite thing about the Paul Dick's overhead press is that because of the nature of the movement, you're placing the triceps under a lot of time under tension. You can see that we start the exercise with the arms straight overhead, and then from there we bend the elbows towards the top of our head, and then even reach back behind our neck with the bar, and then reverse that to get to the top of the movement. So going from the top all the way to the back of your neck, you're really stretching the tricep through a great range of motion. So if you can get into this position, it's an awesome way to really open up some muscles in the shoulder joint that might be tight from limited overhead movement. Especially if you love training squat, bench, and deadlift, some people don't really give too much attention to those overhead motions, or they kind of half-ass it. You might want to look into this movement, especially if you struggle with the mid-range of your bench press. When it comes to mid-range or even lockout issues, I love to give things like incline pressing and especially overhead pressing to help break through those issues. So if we see that, hey, your triceps are limiting you and you have issues with the middle of your bench press, I'm probably giving you the Paul Dick's overhead press. And because of the nature of this exercise where you're moving through a pretty decent amount of range of motion with a couple different steps, I'm probably not giving this for more than about 10 reps. If anything, a great place to start is 3 to 5 sets of about 5 to 8 reps. It's just one of those movements where it does really well with a lower rep range, so you could probably load more weight, but you probably won't even get to load weight because it just feels that heavy. So with this exercise, you're getting a great tricep pump, getting to strengthen the triceps, but you're also getting to stretch some of the muscles that might be limiting your shoulder range of motion. Exercise number 2, we have the Tate Press. The Tate Press is an exercise that almost anyone can do, especially if you're having issues getting into certain positions of exercises like regular skull crushers, or even exercise that you'll see in this video like the overhead press that we just talked about. Now I love the Tate Press because it's like a nice middle of the road variation that kind of feels similar to the bench press itself. Now I'm not saying that you have to mimic the position of the bench press for the triceps to carry over to it, but it's nice to feel that same positioning when you're doing some of your accessories. So you can start to kind of buy in to training those accessories hard for it to carry over to the movements that you want. It is actually a pretty similar motion to the skull crusher, but because of the position of the arms, we're in a more comfortable position that more people can do. So like I said, this is a nice middle ground variation where a lot of people, despite some mobility restrictions, they should be able to get into this position relatively easily. And with that being the case, I really like to milk being in that position for an extended amount of time. So I'm not loading these up crazy heavy, but I am gonna do higher rep ranges to really milk that positioning like we just said. So for this, I would go for about 2 to 4 sets of like maybe 15 to 20 reps even. Get that pump and get used to being in that position, and then over time, as your elbows and your triceps get used to working in that capacity, we can start to experiment with other variations that might be a little bit harder hitting on those joints. And before we continue, just because an exercise is harder hitting on a joint does not mean it's a bad thing. All exercises work the joints. You just have to do what you can and build up that strength as you get used to things over time. For the Tate press, you're gonna set up as if you're about to do a flat dumbbell press, and you're gonna bring the dumbbells together towards the middle of your chest and then straighten the arms out so they return back to that starting position over your shoulders. For our third exercise, we have rolling dumbbell tricep extensions. This one's also pretty simple to explain. It's literally a skull crusher, but you're rolling into the bottom position instead of controlling it into the bottom itself. Now, this is a movement that might make the bodybuilding bros mad. Remember, we are not doing these exercises for aesthetics purely. You will get the benefit from that, but I care about people feeling better and performing better. So this is a prime example of an exercise that can do just that, even though it might not line up with the slow and controlled tempo that you might have been told to do. And why is that? Well, in this exercise, we have that rolling component, so we have that momentum that we can use to rebound and push to straighten out the arm and use the tricep. And because of that roll, it helps you use that momentum to lift more weight. So you'll see, like if you, for example, are able to do 20 pounds with a skull crusher, you might be able to get 40 pounds with a rolling tricep extension. But remember, for this variation especially, and other variations in general, do not just jump to overloading crazy even if you can. These tendons can get very pissy, and if you just jump right to the heaviest weight possible without letting the muscles guide the way, you're gonna be in for a rough time. So use momentum, use that ability of this exercise to let you load more weight, but then let that weight naturally add up over time. So to perform the rolling extensions, you're gonna start in a close grip dumbbell press position. You're gonna bend your elbows to lower the dumbbells towards your shoulders. Keeping that shape, you're gonna roll the dumbbells back towards the side of your ears, almost as if they're about to touch the bench. Bring them back over the shoulder and then press up as if you're doing a close grip bench. So we bring it down, roll it back, roll it up, push up. Since we are going a bit heavy, you can kind of steal the sets and reps scheme from the Paul Dix overhead press, or you can just do 3 to 4 sets of about 6 to 10 reps for this one. Now, a little bonus with this exercise, you can actually add a band to it as if you're about to do a banded push-up. Now in this video, I used a band that was way too heavy, but please go a little bit lighter with the band and you'll still get just as much benefit from it. It makes the lockout a little bit harder, so you're getting a little bit more work done throughout the entire movement. Exercise number 4, we have the JM press. Like I said, we're using these variations to carry over into making our upper body feel better, but also for carryover to our bench press performance. So this variation and the next one coming up are very specific to bench press because you are going to be in a bench press position. So the JM press is J.M. Blakely's love child between a skull crusher or tricep extension combined with a close grip bench press. Now this exercise gets a lot of flack. It is a very controversial exercise. It's controversial because people load it way too heavy way too soon, and it leads to a lot of elbow issues. But the solution is literally in what I just said. Everyone loads this exercise way too heavy, and it leads to them having those issues. So solution, don't go that heavy. It is one of those like later stage exercises that I'll use if I really want to make sure someone's tendons are up for the challenge, if we want to add in more bench press sessions in a week. Is it necessary? No. Is it something that you'll feel the benefits of right as you do it? Yes. So for the jam press, your grip is going to be about the same width that you would a overhead press or a close grip bench press, which is about shoulder width apart. Any closer than that, you're not really getting any extra benefit. So those diamond close grip bench presses that people do, not really worth it. So with that grip, to lower the barbell, you're trying to aim for in between your chin and your collarbone. Anywhere there is fine. As you're lowering it, you want to really roll the wrists so that the fists end up in this position that you see on the screen here, while keeping the elbows above the height of the hands. We don't want the elbows to drop low because that might get us more range of motion, but it defeats the purpose of the exercise. You're just gonna get some more shoulder that you might not really need. So once again, we bend the wrists, keep the elbows high. Elbows are gonna be flared out about 45 degrees as we reach towards in between our chin and collarbone. And if you do this right, the barbell's not gonna touch the chest or anywhere near your body. It's probably gonna hang a couple inches off of that. And then once you're in that bottom position, you just push straight up, punch the ceiling. In the beginning, this might feel like a lot of pressure on your tendons of the elbow, but I've heard that from exercises like skull crushers, tricep extensions, you name it. I've heard that it's been annoying for certain people's elbows. The exercise is rarely the issue. If you're just choosing weights that you are not ready for, or just doing the movement in a way that just doesn't make sense, you're probably gonna run into issues. But if you choose an appropriate way for the exercise and you move in a way that fits the way your body likes to move, you're gonna feel the benefits of the exercise without any of the drama that people feel when they get pain from working out. It is 100% a skill issue, and it has nothing to do with the exercise itself. So with the jam press, we wanna avoid elbow issues, so we're gonna keep this super, super light, go higher rep to get a really nice tricep pump. Go for about 2 to 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps with this one. And for our final 5th exercise, I'd be very surprised if you heard about this one. We have the Kolb Press. It's technically more of a grip change than it is an actual pressing variation, but if you perform it the way that Jimmy Kolb described it, you're gonna get a really nasty tricep pump. So for the Kolb grip, aka the fork grip, the lobster grip, the natural grip, you're gonna hear a lot of names for this one if you do hear about it. Whatever you wanna call it, this exercise is great if you have severe shoulder restrictions when you try to get under the barbell. And yes, you could just do a dumbbell press and have a lot of the freedom when it comes to just moving that free weight. But if you love the barbell and you wanna train with the barbell and take advantage of its ability to be loaded way more than any other of those training implements, this is one of the coolest ways to get back to that without pissing off your shoulders. So if you're having issues setting up with the regular barbell bench press and you've tried every variation under the sun, give this one a shot. The grip itself is an in-between variation of the regular bench press and the full supinated reverse grip bench press. Similar to the Tate Press, it's that in-between land that can feel really comfortable for people that have issues with range of motion in either direction that their body can move in. The magic of this exercise is because of the way the grip is shaped, it puts your shoulder and your elbows in a different position that you can't really get with a lot of the other grips of the barbell. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, just by changing the position of the arm or the elbow, or whatever part of the body you're talking about, you can change the benefits of the exercise. The only tricky thing about this movement is that if you have weirdness in your wrists, especially when it comes to bending it back, you might have a hard time getting into the position of this grip. But if you go a bit wider with your grip, that might help. So to get into the Kolb grip, we're carrying about our index finger, middle finger, and our thumb. We're trying to place the barbell in between the index and middle finger so that it lands in this little valley between the pads of our palm. So once you have the barbell in that placement, you're just gonna clamp down with the fingers and you should feel the barbell in this nice little groove. It should feel relatively natural, surprisingly. And then from there, you just perform a regular bench press. So one thing I love about the Kolb press is that you can do either lower weight for higher reps or higher weight for lower reps. It's literally just a different grip of how you can bench press. So if you really like the Kolb grip and you want to train with this long term, you can just change the rep schemes over months and years, and you can keep this in your routine for a pretty long amount of time. And there you have it, 5 tricep exercises that not only will help your bench press get stronger and help you get stronger, you're gonna look better, you're gonna feel better, and you're gonna overall have a better life because you have better triceps. Just because you're dealing with pain or you're struggled by plateaus, it does not mean you have to stop working out or training in the gym. You can have fun again and you can make progress despite whatever pains you're feeling. You just have to get a little creative. Hopefully with this video, you can see, depending on how creative you can get, you can change the intent of certain exercises to fit what you are dealing with. And while addressing those issues, you're still gonna get stronger and you're still gonna get jacked. If you like this video and you wanna learn more from me, YouTube is a great place to start. I'm treating this like my little Robin Hood, where I take everything that I've learned over the past decade as a physical therapist and strength coach. There's more from me on my Instagram and my newsletter. So give me a follow, and if you wanna learn more, feel free to leave a comment or reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to hear from you.